All right, so it's March 17th, 2016, and it's the American holiday, St. Patrick's Day.
Holidays, man. We love
and we have a lot of our brothers and sisters out here, celebrating this holiday. So I'm going to go to Yahshron to share some information on this quote-unquote holiday to inform the people what are they really celebrating, bro.
Peace, family. Peace, love, and light. I'm going to get right into it. I'm going to be breaking down holidays as they come up. I'm going to just kind of go from my notes real quick. St. Patrick's Day. It always falls on the 17th every year, which is unlike Resurrection Sunday, or what we call Easter, Ishtar, which is really the moon and sun equinox. That's how the pagans worship the sun. But on St. Patrick's Day, which deals with the Hibernian people, which is Ireland, basically they drove out the snakes. You remember the snake in the Garden of Eden was seen as evil. That's by the Roman Catholic Church. That's how they portrayed it. But and that's how Christianity was introduced. That's why it's thought to be lucky to find a 4-leaf clover, because 3 leaves were common, because 3-leaf clovers represent the Holy Trinity. And so you get into later myths of leprechauns, rainbows, pots of gold, things of that nature, which is a ritual. The black serpent people who were in the land of Ireland at the time, which were the Druids, were the Twa people of Africa. And they wore the uraeus, which is a serpent crown. It's the same as the pharaohs. Again, that symbol represented evil to the Roman Catholicism myths. Druids were short, pygmy people. Think about this. There aren't any snakes in Ireland. Why? The climate does not permit for it to be so. Remember, snakes are reptilians. Reptilians have to be in cool areas. They're cold-blooded. So they cannot, their bodies won't warm up to adjust to the climate. They have to find shade. Or same thing, they'll overheat. They have to find shade. The Druid people, which is Drew wood or oak knowledge, just as the word, it was just oak knowledge or wisdom. That's where you get Hollywood from. Hollywood, the holly wreath, is magic. Was a Druidic pagan practice of sorcery, tradition, belief, and faith. Obviously taken from ancient Egypt. Then they were transferred from the books to the Greek and the Roman, now to film, movies. That's why you see the movies, Illuminati, Hollywood. So St. Patrick's Day, to break it down, is basically the genocide of the African people who inhabited and were civilizing the land that we call Ireland. And who used what the Roman Catholic Church would call pagan rituals. Now, I'm about to get into it heavy, real deep, real quick. If you look into it, leprechaun. Y'all know leprechauns are associated with St. Patrick's Day, pot of gold. Leprechaun is leprosy. You will find that in the Bible. Leprechaun means leprosy. Cave people had leprosy and rickets. Put a C before rickets, you get crickets. All right? How do crickets' legs look? They're bowed. They have a bowed or a bowed leg. You know what I'm saying? How that little hump, basically, which indicates weakness of the bones, which means they lack vitamin D deficiency. Where do we get our major source of vitamin D from? The sun. Raw light, right? So a person without melanin of color, which is eumelanin, that's different from the melanin that Europeans have. They have pheo. We have eumelanin. That can't process or vitalize the vitamin D from the sun. Or they get too much sun exposure, it will kill them.
They get cancer.
Right. So a person that lacks the vitamin D will get leprosy, and it gets too much, they will get cancer or they will die. The climate that they were in, the mountains, the Caucasus Mountains, were blocking the sun from them. So
Caucasus Mountain, Caucasians.
Yeah, Caucasians, right there. Mm-hmm. You feel me? So they were in a system of feudalism. Why? Because food was scarce. All they know was competition for food. There wasn't a bounty. It wasn't bountiful. Wasn't plentiful. And they didn't live in that climate. You know what I mean? So when they came in to our situation, they couldn't fathom, and all they was thinking was, "Yo, we gotta take up all of this, you know what I mean? Like, you know, we might not get to eat tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So that's where that came. That system of feudalism came from. And with, like I said, without vitamin D, they developed rickets, leprosy. Biblically, that's associated with pale white skin and lesions. You can go and do your research on that. What's really interesting is this right here. Is their zealousness and jealousy for gold. If you look at the word gold, if you take the word L out, the letter L, now we know in Hebrew, E-L means God. If you add God inside of God, L, you get gold. Why were our people, our ancestors, you can find them in gold, Mansa Musa, you can find Tutmos, Ramesses. They all had gold. Why would we associate with gold? I'm about to break that down. Gold is what stardust, as the sister mentioned earlier.
And doesn't the body have gold in it?
We're comprised of that.
Right. We're made from that stardust, from that gold. I'm about to get into that. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Right.
So gold is like holding the sun. If a person has skin melanin that is compatible to the sun, then one has symbolically skin of gold. They call melanin the black gold. Why? You looking on the black market, it's $3.53 a gram. You know what I'm saying? It might rise pretty soon. You see what I'm saying? So why? So guess what they do? They kill for it, they hoard it, they steal it, they monopolize it, they worship it at a different rate because they cannot respect it. They don't resonate with it as we do because we know the power of gold, the current it has, the properties that it possesses, the alchemy of it. We understand that. So basically, to sum it up, remember that it's from St. Patrick's Day. It's from an egotistical cultivation on how they viewed themselves as the genocide of the Druid or the Twa people from Africa that gave you their idea of God and took ours away. And it is also the first time you will see the form of colonialism. So I challenge you to do your research, and then I will let the Queen and the King, have their take on it, information.
That was a powerful opening. I appreciate
very good information.
Very good information.
Anybody wants to touch on that?
All I have to say is that, just when it comes to practicing different holidays or pagan holidays or just all of the Americanization of all of these holidays, which pretty much it's all commercialism now. Even we don't even, a lot of us, who practice these things or celebrate them don't even really know the history of them. The farce history or the real history behind it. We're just celebrating and partying with it. Like today, I'm sure there are a lot of people taking Jägermeister bombs and beef and just all those types of things without even knowing the history or doing the research behind it. And as black people, African people in this country, we get swept up into it, and to me it's just it's unfortunate that we can put so much into someone else's culture. And I know there's a history behind that and a psychological stem from it, but we have to wake up. Wake up, people. Provoke some thought.
Okay. Ka Hotep, you want to add anything to that, or did they touch everything that?
The King put out, man, it was powerful information. I mean, breaking down the science of all these different things and how things was formulated, put together. And also what the Queen said, we celebrate every holiday we celebrate. It was given to us from the European. We celebrate Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, 4th of July. All these holidays don't have anything to do with us. Don't have nothing to do with our people.
They're just taking our money.
Right.
The number one consumers.
Capitalism.
It don't have. Our story do not fit into these holidays. We don't. 4th of July, Independence Day, where we was at in 1776. Our ancestors were still in the cotton field, still slaves, still being hung, still being brutalized. Women still being raped. So I mean, why would we must want to partake in a holiday that's about freedom and our people wasn't free? Right. You know what I mean? So it's like, when you start having an understanding of like what our situation really is, it starts getting kind of heartbreaking when you start seeing your people going along with these practices and, celebrating holidays that don't have anything to do with us, anything to do with our culture, you know, anything, you know, you ask the average black family, you know, what African meal do y'all cook in y'all household? You won't get anything.
Dang, that's a powerful question.
Yeah, that
You
is.
know, like
That's powerful.
the things you're taking in your body, you know, what are some of the African practices you are doing in your household? You know, and we won't, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get 0.
Right.
Because it's all European. I mean, we our words the language we speak, you know, we have that from the European. So we are using his language, you know, so we have to, our thought process got to also use his way of using his words and what we understand as far as his definition of those words.
Right.
You know, so we have to start getting back. It goes right back. Everything's going to always bring you back to getting in the books,
Right.
you know, to educate yourself.
Right.
You know, none of this information is just going to fall out the sky. So they also should let you know that there ain't nobody in the sky zapping information to somebody's head
Right.
and saying this is God's word, you know. So, yeah.
So
I mean,
with that being said,
Well,
with
to a certain
that
extent, but that's on another level.
with that being said,
Yeah.
what I'm hearing is,
Yeah.
you know, a good majority of black families have zero African culture, zero African traditions, zero African foods, ways of life in their households. So what that's telling me is that a lot of our people have zero knowledge of self. And that's sad. That's sad.
That's very sad.
That's very sad. So, you know, I think we're going to close the video out there. It was short but powerful.
Yeah.
So,
Sometimes
peace
like
to the
you
gods, peace to the ancestors,
Peace.
peace to our viewers.
Peace, love, and light.
See you next time.